By the way, the pastor, I'll share this with you too. When we did the Bible study last week, the pastor of the church was he's still showing us how to close the church up, and lock up, and stuff like that. But his whole family was there last week, and we were just kind of hanging out, letting some people come in and just fellowship a little bit. And then I just put out there to him, hey, Pastor, you ought to just go on and hang out with us tonight. Make this a complete group setting. You know what I mean? And I'd love to have your input and things. Okay, we'll see how long we can hang out. We'll just so they hung out with us, and we had Bible study, and he was learning right along with everybody else. Just doing it. We just all students together, and I'm just leading it as we go. Kind of going back and forth. But it real humble of him to be in that position. And he throw out stuff too and be wrong. You know what I mean? But it was okay. But we also have history together. I've been teaching for a long time, and I would teach him. He would listen to me. We'd ask questions and stuff like that even before he started preaching. So it kind of like we got in that setting. But I've taught at his church before too. Before they were at that church, I was doing a Bible study at his church. You know what I mean? Real humble brother. Real humble. But at the end, I asked if anybody had any questions or comments, and things like that. And he said, thanks for the food. I was like, oh, man, thank you, Pastor. I appreciate that and all that. And his wife was really like, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that, all that. And I'm like, uh-oh, they might be back again. You'll be next week. So that was really nice. It went really well. We went after that. We went to Hideaway Pizza to eat. And funny thing was, I didn't have enough money. You know what I mean? But I was already seated and ready, and Delaney was on her way. We had separate cars again. She had to drop Nyrhone off. She was coming back, and we had our meal, and it was a couple behind us, and they kind of chopped it up with us just a little bit. Not much, but recommended something that we agreed to, and was like, okay, good choice. Well, long story short, I was manipulating. I was trying to think, like, how am I going to pay for the rest of this? Okay, I can get some money from the donation. I'll borrow that, you know what I mean, and put that with what I do have. Trying to stitch it together. They came and gave me my bill, my tab, where even what I had wouldn't have been enough. But it was some writing on this ticket. They were talking about being inspired just by seeing somebody. And because of that being a blessing, we were a blessing just from them, from just seeing us. They paid for our meal. So the pastor was like, thanks for the food, for the spiritual food. And the Lord was like, I'll take care of your physical food for you. Yes way. Isn't it? Just to let me know we're on the right path and all that. You know what I mean? It's like how everything worked together so that we could do it as well, you know what I mean? I'm like, the Bible study went well because, pulling that stuff together, the notes that you gave me and all that, man, it was just real helpful. Yeah. Yes, he is. A big one. Big, bold-faced one. Mm-hmm. Right. Something else, man. God is something else. Well, here we go. We are at Proverbs chapter 1. And I'm reading from the Message Bible. Now, here's the thing. I can't really tell in this particular Message Bible which verse is verse 20. So what I'm going to do is start where I think it might be and pick up from there. First of all, let me see, how many versions do we have? What version do you have right now?
I got the Holy Bible, English Standard Version.
English Standard Version? What does your verse 20 say?
It says, wisdom cries aloud in the street, in the market she raises her voice.
Okay. Thank you for that. Wisdom shouts loud in the streets.
Yeah, wisdom cries aloud in the street. In the market, she raises her voice.
That's verse 20.
One
Oh, now wonder why I'm not seeing it. I'm in chapter 1.
Oh, you stole it?
I mean chapter 4. Chapter 3 or 4. I was looking for chapter 1. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I found it then. Thank you for that, because that help me locate where mine starts. Lady Wisdom. Lady Wisdom. You ready? Lady Wisdom goes out in the street and shouts. At the town center, she makes her speech. In the middle of the traffic, she takes her stand. At the busiest corner, she calls out, "Simpletons! How long will you wallow in ignorance? Cynics! How long will you feed your cynicism? Idiots! How long will you refuse to learn? About face! I can revise your life. Look, I'm ready to pour out my spirit on you. I'm ready to tell you all I know. As it is, I've called, but you've turned a deaf ear. I've reached out to you, but you've ignored me. Since you laugh at my counsel and make a joke of my advice, how can I take you seriously? I'll turn the tables and joke about your troubles. What if the roof falls in and your whole life goes to pieces? What if catastrophe strikes and there's nothing to show for your life but rubble and ashes? You'll need me then. You'll call for me, but don't expect an answer. No matter how hard you look, you won't find me. Because you hated knowledge and had nothing to do with the fear of God, because you wouldn't take my advice and brushed aside all my offers to train you, well, you've made your bed. Now lie in it. You wanted your own way. Now, how do you like it? Don't you see what happens, you simpletons, you idiots? Carelessness kills. Complacency is murder. First, pay attention to me, and then relax. Now you can take it easy. You're in good hands. Sounds like the Allstate commercial, doesn't it? That's it. This is what we're going to be looking at. That's your pot roast. I'd like for you to tear pieces off of it and eat it. In fact, I'm going to help you tear some pieces off of it, and we're going to eat it together when we get into that actual study. We'll probably be going, I don't know how the Lord will have me do it. We might go in and out between both messages, protection from deception. But what we're going to be dealing with in this one is ultimate security. The ultimate security, God as our refuge. And the question that we have to ask ourselves, and before we even do, make note of this. This is one PowerPoint that I want to give to you today concerning this particular series. And this is the PowerPoint that Marcel has. If you got it. See, even though wisdom makes her offer to everyone, there are few who accept it. See it? This is your PowerPoint for today. This is just an intro to ultimate security. And we're going to take our cue from this pot roast right here. Because you see that last verse. I like to look at it in the different translations, if you would. What you got? The English Standard Version. What version do you have? What you got? Version? Got the Amplified. Verse 33, possibly 32 and 33. I'd like to hear it in your versions. What you got? Whoever would like to share your version, it doesn't matter. You hear that? Got another version you want to share? Anybody?
Oh, for the backsliding of the simple shall slay them, and the careless ease of fools shall destroy them. But excuse me, whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell securely, and shall be quiet without fear.
Okay. This is the English Standard Version. For the simple are killed by the turning away, and the complacency of fools destroy them. But whoever listens to me will dwell secure and will be at ease without dread of disaster.
Amen. Here's the King James. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whosoever hearkeneth unto me, talking about wisdom, shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. Yours?
We were just talking about that earlier. The prosperity of fools.
We sure were. I was just thinking about that too. That the object, of course, then is to not be a fool.
Don't be a fool.
Don't avoid riches, but avoid being a fool. Don't avoid prosperity. Avoid being a fool. If you pick up wisdom, then you'll handle prosperity properly. I mean, will soon part. Same thing. A fool and his money. Problem is that the fool, he only knows that one problem is not enough money. That's the only thing, and he doesn't have a plan for too much money like the rich do. The rich, or you should say, if the fool doesn't have a plan for too much money, well, the wise do. People who have wisdom, they'll have a plan for too much money. That's why they can handle it. The fool. You remember what was that Friday? It was the next Friday, not Friday after next, but the next Friday. And Craig's uncle won the lottery. Remember that? He won the lottery and he had a swimming pool that was just wet at the bottom. It didn't have the water. It was just wet and polluted. Looking at it, it was all messed up, and they owed a lot of debt. The problem was they won the lottery and they started buying a lot of liabilities that created expenses, which is what a lot of us do because we don't have a plan for too much money. And they played it out in comedy, what the Bible is talking about, the prosperity of fools. These are some fools that got some prosperity, and now they got a messed up swimming pool and all kind of crazy stuff going on. Yeah, all kind of bad stuff. How you gonna win a lottery and lose your house? It don't make sense. So what that tells you then is money is not. I put it like this: money is not the answer to their solution, to their problem. I mean, money's not there. Wisdom would be. Wisdom would be. Wisdom will give you a plan for too much money for a windfall. You know what I mean? Get wisdom and you'll be ready for one. Les Brown said it's better to be prepared and not have the opportunity than to have the opportunity and not be prepared. Bless you, Nylena. The what? That you would have to.
You got to be something given to the Lord or some tithes or something.
What?
In order to prosper. It's got to be something.
Well, see, anybody who would, if someone would tithe, if they're tithing for real, then they're prioritizing their money.
Right.
I mean, when they prioritize their money, that's wisdom.
Okay, that's what.
That's wisdom because you're prioritizing. You're not going to be a fool with your money. You know what I mean? And you'll end up doing more with your 90% than you would if you had 100% of your own money. You see what I mean? Craig's uncle used 100% of his money, I'm sure, instead of 90% of it.
I think if you're not tithing, but you're alms giving, would that be wisdom as well? Donations. See, a lot of people, some of us been giving, and that's what a lot of times they give us like have a tax break or whatever. Something. But that's what a lot of most of the time that's what it's for anyway. Anybody even give that they give nothing.
Right. That's true. Some people do it for that reason.
I think that's kind of in vain type of giving.
It can be.
Can be.
It can't be. See, the thing is, you don't know what's in their heart when they do.
Right, that's in their hearts.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Be on the stance of working your way, to God's grace, kind of like,
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's why I
And
was
some
saying,
people believe
you're
that too.
all giving, but you're not supposed to be doing, but you're not tithing.
Not tithing.
Yeah.
Then that would be, I think, if that don't
If-
coincide with one another.
Well, I put it like this: if you're not tithing and you are alms giving, it's helping the person that you're giving to, but it ain't doing nothing for you or much for you or as much for you.
So it's not really
'Cause,
much wisdom.
Yeah. And if you're trying to, and see, an alms giving is not an offering either. I mean, when you give an offering, that's different from alms giving. And that would be beyond your tithe. But if now I would dare to say this: if you're not tithing and you're giving an offering, your offering might not be accepted. I mean, and how to make that make sense? Let's say Nylena has a laptop she wants to sell. All right, Faith wants to buy it, but she's too young, so we ain't gonna use it. So she wants to sell her laptop, and she's gonna sell it. It's in good shape, and she wants to sell it for $200. All right, Marcel, he says, I like that laptop. I'll offer you $100 for it. Well, Nylena already has her set price. Do you think she'll accept $100 for a $200 laptop in good condition? Especially if there are other people who they pay $250 for it. All right. Well, he offered her $100. $100 is $100, right? But that offering was not accepted. You see, it was not accepted to the person that needs to get $200. If you don't give $200, I'm not going to accept $100. You see that? If I need $200 is what I'm looking for this. Then you offer me $100, I just turn down your offer. No thanks. You see that? It works the same way with God. If you owe 10%, if 10% belongs to the Lord, a tenth, he says that 10 is mine. The tithe is the Lord's. It belongs to him. It's holy. Set that aside because that's mine. Now, what does God want to do with 10% of my money? Well, it's not your money. It's 10% of his money. All of it is his. He just wants 10% of what's in your possession. Well, what's he going to do with that? He's in heaven. He can't do anything with my money. Well, of course, he's in heaven. You're on earth. So that means then that the tithe is not for him. It's for you. You're the one on earth. You give him that 10%, you've become a business partner with God. He's not demanding 50%. He wants 10% so that he can bless you in your 90%. You see that? It's like a security deposit given to God, but it belongs to him anyway. And when I give it to him, in honor of his word, and out of a pure heart, I want to do this. Remember, tithing is not under law, it's under grace. Abraham, our father, the father of the faithful, those who have the same kind of faith, do it like Abraham did. Abraham paid his tithe to Melchizedek, not because he had to, but he didn't want to give any credit to anybody else but God. No, I don't want this king whom I, helped out and got all these spoils. You know what I mean? I don't want him to think that he made me wealthy, so I'm going to give that to Melchizedek, the high priest. In that sense, I'm giving it to God. Now, when you give to God, when you pay your tithe to him, that's not going to help him. That's going to help you. When you do your alms giving, that doesn't help you. That helps that person that you give to. And when you give an offering, make sure that you pay him what you owe him first and then give an offering. Your offering will be accepted. I mean, $200, thank you for the Marcel said, I'm going to give you $250 for that thing. Well, I'll take that $50 then. She turned down the $100, but she accepted the $50. That's interesting. Why would she accept $50 but not $100? Because she was paid what was owed first. You see that? Now I can give anything beyond that an offering. It'll be accepted gladly. If it's $2 over, you want $202, I'll pay you $202 for it. You'll accept that, won't you? Yeah. But you won't accept that $100 offer without that $200 first. But see, when you pay your tithe to God, when you give it to him, now anything beyond that is a bonus, and it helps you further.
Right.
You see that? Go ahead, D. I'm
That
sorry.
principle about obedience being better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because the occasional, like, let me give this that person, that would be like a sacrifice. But the regular act of giving, tithing, is the act of obedience. And there are things that come along with that are part of the deal. That I can see to where, okay, part of the deal is that he rebukes the devourer.
Right.
So if you don't meet that part of the deal, then you miss out on your part of the deal.
Right.
And you don't get their devourer because so here you are giving to these people, but it's not,
Right.
You're still probably having issues in your finances still because you're not being obedient.
Any given,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
anything that's given that's separated from God is
Futile.
if you, yeah.
You can say that
It's like
because giving is. I put it like this. It's helping short term.
Right.
It ain't helping long term, and it'll help the person that you give to, but it ain't gonna help you much.
Right.
For the sake of just to say that I give. Like, bravo, good for you. I mean, that's your reward right there.
Some of the conditions that need to be met to get the 100
Right.
out of it. You might get the 30% blessing out of it.
Yeah.
But who wants the 30 when you can get the 100?
Right.
If it's 30 better than nothing, but why
Yeah.
you like that?
And plus that 60 that you're not getting might eat up your 30.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
You know what I mean? Or 70 that you're not getting. Yeah.
yeah,
The ignorant person
right.
who refuses wisdom.
Right.
He refuses wisdom, refuses knowledge.
Well, saying anything you can prosper, you can be doing all the right things to it, but if it's separated from God, it's not good fruit.
Right.
That's
Mhm.
basically what I'm saying.
That's it.
'Cause it's not wisdom.
Right.
You got all these stars that are giving
Yeah, that's
huge
yeah.
to charities,
But
but they're not happy.
there
They're
you
not,
go.
Yeah.
still not happy.
They don't. They're not living a blessed life, empowered.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They're doing all the things. People probably prosper, doing good behind it. Houses doing that, but
Everybody got a car.
it's short. It's short term.
Yeah. And the things you
Longevity.
mentioned earlier too, the love, the joy, the peace, the patience, the kindness, see all those things the world wants. When they see you enjoying that, it makes them hungry for it. That's the fruit of the spirit. They should be hungry when they see your fruit. You see that? And we should be working to develop our fruit so it'll make them hungry. You know what I mean? And in our fellowship, we get to enjoy each other's fruit. You got some good peaches, man. That don't sound right, does it? Yeah. It sound right, didn't it? Yeah, orange. You don't have orange instead. Apple or something. Mm. Well, well, this is the series we're going to be dealing with lately, and I imagine it'll touch on all those areas, but the main thing we need to ask ourselves before we even get going, before we get started in this series is, are we willing to give ourselves over to wisdom? You know what I mean? Are we willing to do that and let wisdom dictate our lives? I mean, if we're willing to do that, then we get the promise in verse 33. Verse 33. It says, "But whosoever hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil." From fear of evil. The fear of evil is worse than the evil itself. And we've already looked at past studies that fear is really faith in reverse. Remember that? Fear being faith in reverse. We've just been given a promise if we hearken to wisdom, but that gives us the flip side. We will fear evil. We'll have faith in the evil. That's another way of looking at fear of evil. People who have faith in evil, kind of like what we were talking about before. Marcel was saying about people who are always talking about their problems and stuff like that. Just fix it. You want to just fix it. That's what you want them to do. But what their problem is they're highly developed in fear, the fear of evil. They haven't hearkened to wisdom, and not hearkening to wisdom, you don't have any faith in God. When you hearken to wisdom, your faith in God it grows in wisdom. Your faith in God, your knowledge of God grows. You understand God and His ways. So now you don't have any fear of evil. You've reversed the fear and turned it into faith. If faith draws everything that you want from God, all the blessings from God, then fear draws all the things that you don't want. See, the things that you don't want, if you spend time talking about those things, you're going to draw those things to you because it comes through your mouth. Death and life in the power of the tongue. Those who love its fruit will eat thereof. That's the other part of that. You love the fruit of your mouth. That's what you're going to eat. You're going to eat those words. So make sure they taste good. Make sure they're healthy and nutritious, the words you speak, because you're going to have to eat them. Make sure that they nourish your body and they refresh the soul, because you're going to have to eat them. You may have to share them. Share your words so that other people can be replenished and refreshed too. So make sure that they're good words. You see that? Something to think about. So are you willing to give yourself over to wisdom? If you are, then you can have ultimate security. Any questions or comments? It again. Nah, really. I know. Yeah. Thank you. Getting smarter. The fear is the simplicity of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the opposite of that would be the confidence, being a conqueror.
Wisdom will put you over. It will. Wisdom will make you the conqueror. And like Ecclesiastes says, wisdom is better than strength. So you don't have to be strong if you got wisdom.
Right, yeah.
Just be wise. But what did you want me to say again, baby?
Say that again. Are you willing to?
Are you willing to give yourself over to wisdom? Wisdom's calling to us, calling to everybody. But like I said, not everybody will answer. Few people answer the call of wisdom. Fortunately, we have a small church. What that means is we have a higher percentage of people who will answer the call to wisdom. Yeah. You do? I do too, man. And that's good to hear. I do too. But if I was up here jaw jacking, would you still love it?
What private you think about more of an investment?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're going to take more time to assure these people it's going to get the minimum.
That's true. You can pour into a few people.
Yeah, you can.
You can pour more into a few people.
You could not have the back and forth if it was all much people. You'd get it out here like 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody get their opinion in,
And everybody wants to one up somebody, so they go say something they ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking about. They just talk about something else, But in a small setting like this, we have concentrated word, you could say, real beneficial.
Concentrate, that means that you can spread it all.
That's true, huh? Go deeper with it.
Concentrated 100%, it'll go far. It's far been already watered down.
That's true. That is true. We don't get the watered down. You really can't afford to give a watered down version with a small church as a pastor. As a pastor, I mean, like it wouldn't be long before you stop fooling with me if I keep giving you the same old stuff, and you know what I mean. Like, I know that already.
You don't know my name, who I am. Was that you in the back there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
seen you. Was you 4 or 5 rows down?
Harder to be intimate in a bigger setting.
Yeah,
Not impossible, but harder.
hard. Yeah,
You can apply wisdom to that though, because see, it's just like you said, like people who let's say the poor or the fool, he only knows the one kind of money problem, and that's not enough. The wise person, he knows the problem of not enough and too much and has a plan for too much. Well, that's just for money. It works for also members. Members in the church. If you're going to have a small church, that's fine. Use it while it is small and do what you're supposed to do with it. But have a plan for a larger one. Because if the Lord so chooses to bless us with more, we have to have a plan for more. That means that we'd have to embrace wisdom to have a plan for more, instead of being a fool and we can't accommodate them, so we got to send them away. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The fool can't accommodate too much money, so it gets sent away. The money gets sent away. You see, it was the same with the numbers in the congregation. If you can't handle the numbers, then they'll go somewhere else. But if you got a plan to hold them, then that would take wisdom. That would take wisdom. But you always got to keep a guard of your heart too. Make sure that your heart is. Wisdom will make sure that your heart is in line with God. So wisdom is the principal thing. That's what we gotta seek after.
What is Solomon? Who was that? Solomon had the choice of wealth, but he
Honor, wealth, or wisdom. He thought maybe wealth would do it. First thing that we think of, I need some money, man, so I can look like a king and act like I can do some stuff and buy stuff like a king. We say, that's not gonna really do it. When he thought it through, maybe honor will do it. If people honor me, then I can be their king and they'll follow me because they honor me. Maybe not. You know what I mean? But he's like, I know, I need wisdom. I need wisdom. Lord, grant me wisdom so that I can rule your people and be pleasing to you. Best answer. Survey says, ding, it was number one answer. And since it was the number one answer, God says, I'm not going to just give you wisdom and make you the wisest king ever, but I'm also going to give you wealth and honor. All right. So now the same king who received who received wisdom because he requested it, penned for us that if we'll pursue wisdom, then wealth and honor will follow us. Okay. Well, I'll pursue wisdom then. Because I can use some wealth and some honor. You know what I mean? I got enough wisdom to save a city, but I ain't got the wealth to be remembered. That's it. That's what I have for us today. And man, that was kind of a sermon. Doing it. But I'm looking forward to getting into that, and we're going to pick up where we left off from protection from deception as well, and we'll continue with that also. So I think you can take some pot roast along with some meatloaf.
I think it goes along with it.
It does.
You know.
I think so too.
That's the wisdom is what you rely on to not be deceived, to be able to discern.
Yeah.
The situation, times that you're in.
We'll be getting wisdom from both messages, huh? Both series.
It takes wisdom. The root of it is wisdom to be able to discern
Yeah.
what is God and what's not.
So we're going to pack some wisdom in, and we'll be able to discern in these last days and be secure in these last days too. I likes that kind of stuff. That's some news you can use.